Hey everybody, it's not Crusade Era 1000 Suns because I'm still working on them. I'm a bit of a procrastinator, but I got all of tonight and tomorrow morning-ish to do it for Sunday. So I thought I'd procrastinate with some 40k stuff. Primarily biker Tactica for Eldar and Space Marines because they can field full bike armies. And where to begin? Well, I talked about stuff in general in Codex in Depth and Tactica Outnumbered stuff, both in posts on the Fortress Monastery blog, which you should check out. Self-plug there. And on here with Codex in Depth and, Tactica Outnumbered. I didn't talk about Eldar, so I'm not going to talk about war gear or stuff, really. But although I will mention, you gotta remember, Eldar have that free move in the assault, which really helps them with maneuverability. But anyway, I'll touch on that later. Few things to keep in mind. Toughness is usually higher. In terms of Eldar, you get a better save on your Guardians. You're fast. You're relentless. Excuse me. And, yeah. You're small. And let's talk about the small thing first. I can't stress that enough. Small armies, while they can be very potent, you can apply a lot of pressure in a very small spot because you're tiny. And with bike armies and jet bike armies, you can focus a ton of fire because you're relentless at max range. On infantry, you can whittle down tanks. Like, you can focus fire pretty well, but you're small. You're maneuverable, but you're small. And once this army starts taking casualties, it starts taking the casualties bad. Like, it's not forgiving. Deathwing's not forgiving. Bike armies and jet bike armies are equally unforgiving, sometimes more so. Since you're so tiny, you lose a squad. That can be potentially a fifth or a fourth of your army, depending on the point of the game and whatnot. And unlike other armies, you don't have much sacrificial units, really, that you can throw to tie something up. You don't have the ability to recover as well from losing a squad. Let's say if a squad of your bikes get wiped, it hurts your army a lot. You just lost a chunk of your army. You don't have stuff to retake what it was doing. Like, you don't have the extra tactical squad or this, in terms of Space Marine army, the scout squad that can be sacrificed if need be, or fill in the hole and the gap in your lines if one squad goes down. So, keeping that in mind, you're fast. Let's talk about that now. When I say fast, not just your turbo boosting, not just the 12-inch movement, not just the scouting in terms of Ravenwing, but you're fast in the retreat as well. When you fall back fast. Ravenwing doesn't have to worry about this because Ravenwing's fearless, which is great with small armies like in general, and especially with a small army like this. But for the other armies, it's a problem. Yes, and they should know no fear works on bikers for the Space Marines. Yes, Eldar can reroll fail morale if you give them a warlock with that ability or whatnot. But you're rolling 3d6 on a fallback. You can be 18 inches in on the board and still fall back. That's a huge distance to fall back. And that's huge in the game. The only plus side is for Space Marines is that most things won't be able to catch you, so you can regroup immediately. But there's a good chance, and we all know from playing the game, it happens when you don't want it to happen, when you roll those 3-6s when you're falling back and you're off the table. So you have to keep that in mind with how you move. Now, also, just because you're fast doesn't mean you should be. You don't have to dive in headlong 12 inches or turbo boost the first turn. You're relentless. All you have to do is the enemy just has to be 12 inches in, and you only have to be 12 inches in, and you've essentially got range with things that you want to get range with, your bolters or whatnot, or your special weapons. So what do? It's called angles of attack, which I'll talk about now. Angles of attack are important with maneuverable armies. Dark Eldar is important with also, but I'm talking about jet bikes now and bike armies, so we're talking about bikes. What I mean is, I'm gonna use my hand here for a second. Let's say this is the board, and you're just going straight. This is straight. Instead of going straight towards an enemy, you curve it like this or like this. That's angles of attack. Basically, instead of going straight at the guy, you're angling it so you still keep range with him. You kind of keep the range you want, and now you're here instead of here. So let's say the guy is the edge of the Space Marine book. I'm really close now. Now I'm farther away. It's hard to tell really like this, but angles let you keep distance better, and while still closing on an objective or closing in a juicy assault target. Like against Tau, yeah, barrel at him maybe, but you still want to go on the angles, because now if I'm going this way, everything that has range can potentially have range on me like this. All like this whole angle of fire right here has range on this guy. If I go this way, I have range over here. These guys don't have range on me over here. Vice versa. Over here they don't got range, but I have range here. So it keeps you shooting what you want to shoot without things shooting you. I hope that helped. When I have models, to demonstrate this better, I'll probably do it again. But I hope the hand gestures worked well enough. So that's angles of attack, and that's what makes or breaks a biker army. Because let's face it, most of the times with your rhino pushers and whatnot, it's pretty much straight. You're in a vehicle, you want to get there. You can't really do all the fancy smancy movement around cover and whatnot because you can mobilize yourself. Bikers have the problem of dangerous terrain, but the point is, with armor, you essentially just do a push on a flank or in one direction, just push it. Bikers don't work that way, so you have to change your mindset. Remember, you're a shorter army, so if everybody, here comes a hand again, if everybody goes straight, everybody gets shot at by everybody on the other side, or most people on the other side. But if like your biker army, everybody goes on an angle, now the guy over here can't be shot by this guy, and this guy can't be shot by that guy. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Also, biker armies, relentless, great. That lets you do the whole angle of attack thing and still shoot max range. Now with Eldar, since their range is, I believe, a little shorter than the bolter, for the jet bikes minus the shuriken cannons, you have to get in there to hit them. But when you get in there and hit them, they have to complement the angle of attack idea is a free assault move, I think, of 6 inches. So you go in, get really close, shoot them, and then back out, or this way, or that way. You can you can scoot in, shoot, get really close, shoot with everything you have to ensure you got range, or scoot around really close to deny a barricade cover save, and then scoot away. Like let's say your weapon is 12-inch range, which it might be, I don't know. You scoot in, fire does 12 inches. You don't want to stay at 12 inches because now you can get assaulted. So you scoot back 12 inches. Now you're 18 inches away. Unless you're shooting at assault marines, which is a bad idea to get that close with anyway, or things that can move fast, move 12 inches in assault, the most they can do is rapid fire. They can't assault you. And that's the name of the game with biker armies, in my opinion, is you want to stay out of assault range. Space Marines can do it. Eldar have high initiative, yeah, but they're not an assault army, primarily. You can kit them out to be better at the assault with what you give for the upgrades, but they're not assault guys. People find this out the hard way in games. It's the best way to find out, but let's face it, even a squad of 8 Marines on bikes, you had a higher toughness, but with a sergeant with a power fist, assault Marines, just you go at the same time minus the power fists, assault Marines, so many more attacks. It's not, you're not an assault army. No, that doesn't mean don't assault. Assault Tau, assault guard, shoot them up if they're really weak, then assault like a few guys, especially for annihilation, because you want to do piecemeal destruction. You don't want to just leave squads like 3 here and there. You never want to do that in general, in my opinion anyway, but you want to pretty much guarantee their destruction and then move on. And it's better to do that with your shooting. You can follow up with an assault if there's a couple of guys left and they pass a leadership check or whatnot, but mostly you have to remember to keep in mind angles of attack and shooting. I hope that helped clear up any wonderings about biker armies. I think they're great. They're very characterful. They look cool on the board. They're fast, but they play differently than the generic army, and they're a bit more unforgiving than the generic armies. So that's it for now. Until the next time, take it easy.